Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're looking at my cargo trailer. This is my enclosed cargo trailer that I converted to my dirt bike trailer. And if you can see here, all these lights, this is what I've been working on the last week, is really getting the electrical system in this trailer worked out. So adding a battery, a fuse socket, on-off switch, and then wiring up all these lights. I want to show you how I did it, the wiring process, and kind of the steps I used, because I couldn't find a lot of good videos on what I was looking to do when adding a battery and this electrical system to my trailer. So let's step inside and take a look at the system that I got set up. Okay, for a quick reference, this is a 2021 cargo trailer. It's a Look Element series. It's tandem axle. It's 16 feet long, 7 feet wide, 7 foot tall, and it's got a small V-nose on it. Now let's step inside here, and I want to go through these lighting, how I did this lighting project. Okay, first off, the lighting is really powered by a battery. So the trailer doesn't have its own battery system. It has a small little battery out on the tongue that's used to control the brakes if the truck and the trailer ever get disconnected. But that's not enough to really power any lights, nor should you use that. So I want to show you the system I have set up, and kind of all of the heart of the system is really down here. If you can see, I've got some storage bins here. So behind it, here in the front of the trailer, I have my battery set up. I want to kind of walk you through how I have this battery set up. So if you can see here, I have it's a Duracell, model number is 27DCX. I just picked this up at Sam's Club. It's just a deep cycle marine, kind of like a marine RV battery. It was like 86 bucks, my local Sam's Club. I picked it up. You want a deep cycle battery for these purposes, and then I have this Noco marine battery box. Now this battery box I actually have just bolted to the floor, so that way it's not going to go anywhere. Now for charging or keeping the battery charged, I have an onboard charger. So these two leads here, positive and negative lead, come up here, over through here, and it's hooked into this Noco Genius 10 amp battery charger. This is an onboard charger. It can charge lithium, AGM, regular lead acid batteries at a 10 amp rate. So it's more than sufficient for this. And I have just the cord, so it's plugged into the battery on this side. This side's plugged in. It actually snakes through here. Let me show you how this works over here. It goes underneath my work cabinet here, and then it's plugged into this outlet right here. This outlet actually goes to the outside, and I can plug an extension cord into it. So when I'm parked at home here, I have an extension cord plugged into the other side of this. This has two cords. One's for my power strip here on this side, the other is for that onboard charger. So you need to have a way to charge the batteries on board, because the vehicle, how I have it set up, is not going to charge it while I'm driving. So it's really just going to be this onboard charger. So that's how I have the battery set up. Now on the other side of the battery, or the other wires coming from the battery, I have a positive wire coming off here, and it's hooked into this. Commonly you see these in RVs or boats. It's just an on-off switch. So this is on. I can turn all the power off to my fuse block here through the switch here. So it's just a power, one lead in and then one wire out. So it's just interrupting the signal, and when you turn it off, interrupting the flow of electricity. So I wanted to have an on-off switch. That way I could turn everything off. I'm not having any kind of draw on the battery when I'm not using it or don't want it. So the other side here, I have a negative side of the battery going to my negative side of the fuse block, the positive to the positive side. I only have one circuit so far set up, and that's my lights, but it's a fused circuit. So that way, if there's any kind of overload or any kind of circuits getting crossed, it will blow the fuse. So and my fuses are all going to be located here. This is a pretty cheap little fuse block you can get. I found this on Amazon. I'll leave links below to all these products that I'm using. But so I have my negative side. So this is the negative side of the fuse terminal. So my negative side here, and then the positive side is fused, and that comes off right there. So those two wires go up to my lights. Let me show you how that works. Okay, so there's the other side of the wire. It just goes up to the ceiling, and then those two wires are ran. I have a positive and a negative ran the full length of this side of the trailer. So it's ran all the way to the front to the back here on this side, and then each of these lights are kind of teed into that power, that positive and negative power. Now, one thing where it got a little more complicated, and I'll try to explain this the best I can, so hopefully this makes sense. But I wanted to be able to use this existing switch and the wires that were already ran for this switch. So this switch, if I took the wires out, I looked at the wires here, and I have a black in and a black out wire. The black out was going to the light, so it ran up here, and then up in the ceiling, a little wire went into this, and then it went straight into the existing light that this trailer came with. So what I did is I just have the power out right into this wire that was coming from the switch. Now, to get wire into the switch, I teed my power wire in up here. You can kind of see a yellow wire up here. The bundle of wires that went from the plug in the trailer to all of the lights in the trailer just were all right here. So I looked for the black wire. I cut the black wire up here, and I put my power wire, my red wire from my fuse block, into that wire there, and I left the other side capped off. So that way no power from the truck is now going to come into this trailer. I could reconnect that if I wanted to, but now all the power is going to go from my fuse block into that wire. That wire now goes into the switch, and then the switch out goes up to here, and then I just hooked all of my lights. The power side of the positive side of all the lights are hooked into the wire coming out of the switch, and I just ran a wire all the way that way and a wire all that way, and I just teed all the lights into that wire. Okay, one thing that made this a little challenging is the wire that I used. I used a 12 volt. No, not it's like a 12. Let me show you what it is here. It's kind of like it's a low voltage wire. I got 100 foot of this, but it's a 12 gauge wire. 12 gauge is pretty thick for these lights. These lights had like a 24 gauge wire coming off them, so they didn't need this much, and I don't know why I got that big of wire, but I did. But it comes kind of paired like a speaker wire, so it's got positive and negative, and you can kind of separate the wires. But it made it easy running positive and negative to every light. Now I grounded it all to the battery, so I don't have anything like screwed into the frame of the trailer, just because if your welds aren't really good on the trailer, then you could get some intermittent grounding, and lights may work intermittently. So I wanted to ground everything directly to the battery. But what I did is, so let's just say here I have and I did this for both positive and negative. So let's just say this is the negative side, right? This is the power, this is the wire coming from the battery or the fuse block and then this is the other side of the wire. And then here's my light that I'm teeing into it. Well, what I would do is I would cut the wire, strip back both ends, and then I would tee in this. So I basically have 3 wires that I need to reconnect at every junction. And so what I do is I take those 3. But when you have 3 12 gauge wires together, look how thick that bundle of wire is. So I had to use these big red nut caps, and I would screw those in like that to make the connection. And then I'd take some electrical tape, wrap in electrical tape, so that way it's kind of blacked out, it's not as obvious. So now so this is kind of the main wire's here, and then it's teed in, the light's teed in here. So I did that every beam that there's a light, there's a T of both a positive and a negative with those big red nut caps. So it kind of makes it for a bulky. Let me shine a light up here so you can kind of see. You can see there, it's kind of, I did use some like black Gorilla tape to kind of hide the wires up there a little better, but it's not the cleanest installation. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of using these wire caps, these nut caps, or wire nut caps, whatever these are called. I probably used 30 of these, and I also used them for everywhere where there's a light, the wire going into it. You can see this little bundle right here is 2 caps under that. So this is the wire from the light, a patched in piece, and then I'd have them all connected there, and then all spliced into the main line. So I have a main line going all the way across. Hopefully that makes sense on how to use the existing wiring. You just need to find where it starts at the beginning of the trailer there. I hook my power into there, and then where it comes out, where the wire comes out to the light, and I just splice my power wire into that. That way I can use that switch for all of these lights and turn all those off so you can see here. So now that one switch is now powering all of these lights. And it really makes it nice. This is the existing light that came with the trailer. This little, as you can see, the light doesn't match. The color's not matching. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to put 2 more of these LED strips right here. It'll make it a little brighter. And then I'm also going to put 2 underneath the cabinets on their own switch, and I can just wire that directly right into my fuse box down there. But anyways, guys, hopefully that at least gives you an idea on maybe if you're looking at some wiring ideas or looking at ways to hook up lights in your trailer. The main component is just going to make sure you get an external battery, and then I would say get an external battery, an onboard charger, so that way when it's parked you can have it plugged in. Like I have that one. Coming to the trailer going forward, I'm going to look into getting a solar panel set up with a charge controller. That way when I'm out using the trailer, the battery's getting trickle charged by a solar panel. And then I've got some other lighting. I've got some LED light pods here I'm going to install on the back of the trailer to shine out. So I've got a few other things I'm going to work on, but I want to just kind of do a kind of a quick walkthrough of how I got these lights installed and just some ideas. Hopefully that gives you some ideas if you're looking at doing something like this in your own trailer, or just wiring ideas or battery ideas for the trailer. So I figured out what I was going to do, how to set it up, what components to use, and I'm pretty happy with how this is working out. I'm glad I have that little fuse block. That's going to make wiring all the different systems easier, and it's going to help changing out fuses and so forth, make it easier. Everything's kind of tidy right in this little electrical box, this battery box right behind my storage. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.